Hello everyone, my name is Nataraj and I'm a faculty for UPSC Civil Service Preparation. With prelims around the corner with around 40 days or so, let's talk about some simple yet effective strategies that can help you increase your odds of clearing this exam. Especially those kind of strategies that many even good students tend to overlook as well. This is actually part of our prelims mentorship sessions meant for the students who have enrolled in our personal mentorship program. However, we've opened this up for the rest of you as well. So without any further delay, let's get started. Having talked about what you should do before a test, now I give you generally 2 to 3 days. For some of you, you get like 4 to 5 days, and to prepare for the test. It's not that you will be able to finish everything within 2 to 3 days, and I understand that. I've gone through the process. The reason we give you less amount of time is that if we make it 4 to 5 days, you basically lose that momentum. Right, you will start losing that momentum, and then you start preparing. 2 3 days you start slacking off, and then third, fourth day and fifth day become a lot more productive, and we try to sort of avoid that. So once you're done with this thing, in your preparation of everything that you wanted to get done before a test, now you're ready for a test. What are the things that you could possibly do? And I think this is sort of important, so you try to focus on this. This is a good question that most of you asked me, and I'm sure that there is nobody who has not asked me this particular question. When should I take a particular test? Okay, if you believe that ideal time is morning, okay, or is it night time? See, I have two takes on this. Okay, morning is when you're going to be taking that test, prelims. Your actual prelims on what is the date? June 6th or June 7th? Okay, I think it's June 5th. Okay, so June 5th is the date. Okay, it's going to be at 9:30 till 11:30. Okay. Okay, and so you want to sort of set your biological clock. So those are the pros of actually taking the test in the morning slot. But my suggestion is take it in the night. Take your test here. I think this is better. Okay, and I'll tell you why exactly. If it is working out for you here, great, go ahead. But I suggest that you take it in the evening for a few reasons. The first thing is, when you take the test in the morning, what happens is you check your scores. Okay, you expect so and so and so. Okay, you expect a score like this, but your score is something like this. What happens? Okay, disappointment. And this disappointment lasts entire day. Okay, entire day. And considering we have what 40 days, okay, we don't want to be in this kind of position. Okay, and this is happening to a lot of you, right? You believe that I have done everything that is supposed to be done before the test sort of preparation, right? This is what I was supposed to do, and I have actually done it. Now, why is my score like this and not like this? These are arbitrary numbers, of course, X, Y, Z. Okay, X, Y, Z. This could be A, B, C. Okay, something along those lines. And this sort of spoils that entire day for you. And you know what happens? It is okay if you want to take a break for a day. And I would suggest that you take a lot of breaks. Okay, a lot of breaks during your preparation. Okay, especially in the once a week at least, you should have like a day off and do things during the day. Also, you have to have a sufficient amount of breaks. I do really believe this, but this actually ends up negatively affecting you, and this has happened to many of you, right? Despite the fact that you understand that from yesterday to today, you have learned a lot, you have gained a lot, you have revised a lot, you have studied a lot. Okay, but your scores are not to your liking, because you don't control the scores. I mean, some paper could be very difficult, some paper could be very easy. It doesn't mean an easy paper you scored 150 doesn't mean that your preparation is rock solid, right? It doesn't mean that in a very difficult paper you scored like a 97 doesn't mean that array 100 se kam aa gaya. Right, that also is not the right sort of an assessment, but it starts affecting you. Will it happen this year? Will it not happen this year? What do I tell? Whole lot of negative all of this thing. This is something that you really want to avoid. So why I suggest to take the test in the night is that take in the evening. Okay, evening. Okay, and you will finish the test. Okay, somewhere around dinner time. And once you're done with this thing, of course, you'll have a short period of this. Okay, go ahead, make your sort of understand what the solutions are. Okay, and learn whatever you want to learn. Okay, this is something that I didn't know. This is something I didn't know, something I didn't know. Okay, and before you know it, you'll be in your bed. So the amount of time you actually spent like this is quite minimal, right? It is just like 2-3 hours. And when you go to your bed, generally what happens is that there is a reboot. And that happens a lot, right? There is a reboot. You just go to bed and be like, yeah, let's see. But the next morning when you wake up, you forget that thing. You're like, I'm going to do strong. Okay, last test, It was not the greatest test for me, but this test is going to go well. In my suggestion is you take it in the night, because I don't want you, not because you waste the day, but it's also fine. Wasting a day, I actually look at it as resting. Okay, and resting sort of reboots you again. But I do not want you to become more negative. Okay, this is actually a mental game. Okay, despite the fact that you're putting in a lot of effort, if you feel like you're not going in the right direction, and you start questioning whether is it possible by me, okay, mere se hoga ki nahi hoga, these are not the kind of thoughts that should even enter your this thing. Anybody can do prelims, because that is the easiest space. Okay, you've just got to do the right things. If you are good at those 6 subjects plus your current awareness, okay, to an extent where you can say you're better than most, you will for sure clear this exam. Okay, prelims to ho jayega, and you do not want to be wasting time like this. And that is the reason why I generally say take it in the evening, look at the solutions. If you want to frown, if you want to have a scowl on your face, go ahead, that is fine. Okay, go ahead, sleep, okay, wake up, and the next morning, you'll be back in a better form. So that is first thing. Second thing is, if you have not done this till now, that is fine. But right now, the thing that I would suggest is that please go ahead and get a OMR sheet. You can actually print this. You can get a copy. If any of you want this thing, I have an e-copy. I can just give it to you. You can print it at your home, or I'm sure that you can find this in your local stationery shop. These are the only pens that I have used in my entire past. Okay, one is this Rorita Fanta Flow, okay, exceptional, and the other one is Renault's Liquiflow, okay, Liquiflow. I'm not sure exactly how much this costs. Why do I say that these are good? Because it has got a fat, what is it called? The tip, nib. Not sure exactly what it is called. Okay, if you look at cello gripper or something like that, it is actually very thin. So the amount of time it takes for you to shade a bubble, okay, make this one becomes a lot quicker. Okay, so it becomes a lot quicker. So instead of doing it in like 20 minutes, you'll probably be able to do it in like 13-14 minutes. It really helps. Okay, and the pen matters to a great extent. Okay, the pen matters to a great extent. In fact, both of these are the exact same pens. I think it is just a different companies. The feel is very much the same. Okay, so these are the pens that I use, and if it is like names also, I use the same sort of pen for I've used the same sort of pen. So this is what I do. So if you believe that you're going to use another pen, that is fine. Okay, these are the pens that I would suggest. If you feel like there is some other pen that you've been using for a while and it is working for you, that is fine. But from today, just practice with that particular pen. Okay, practice with that particular pen. And same thing, try to practice on OMR sheet. If you've ever made a mistake before in your life, okay, and I have made a lot of them mistakes with my OMR, it is sort of nerve-wracking. In every single question, you'll be like so nervous, and you'll be almost like doing it as it's an artistry. You first make that outer circle, ensure that you're not going outside. All of these things. In fact, I've made a mistake in writing my name itself. Okay, so be very careful. Once you get your admit card, also practice your roll number. Okay, and you practice to a certain extent that you take that fear out. Okay, you don't want to be doing this in 30 minutes. Okay, it is not a big deal. Practice and get it out of the way. Okay, practice and get it out of the way. That's all I would say. Practice and get it out of the way. So this is very important that you try to finalize what is the pen that you're going to use. Use an OMR sheet and try to practice. In fact, you could also try to find out like how you're going to sort of do this. Some of you, you probably would want to do it at the end. Okay, some of you would probably want to do at the end of every page. Okay, and then after every question. Okay, what do you guys use generally? You probably have an idea, right? See, I kind of like this. Okay, I'll do it after every question. When you do it at the end, the chances of you making mistakes is a lot higher. I've made a lot of mistakes like this. Because it requires 20 minutes of deep sort of concentration, and it is difficult. You feel like a fool. How can I solve a particular question and then not look at it and do it right? Okay, it takes a lot of energy, and sometimes mistakes do happen, and those mistakes should not be sort of deciding. It should not decide your fate. Okay, at the end of every page, in case you do not want to do it, then you can probably do it at the end of every page after you've solved like 5 questions or something like this. The reason why I want to do it after every question is that I do not like to come back to a particular question. I don't want to visit a question once I'm done. Jo ho gaya, so ho gaya. Okay, so if it is done, it is done. If I come back to it before I sort of mark it, shade it, what I end up doing is that I end up looking at the question once again and checking my answer once again. And sometimes what I do is I try to come out with ways to sort of change my answer. Okay, and I've also, and this comes from experience, for me it always is the first time what occurs to be the answer is generally the answer. If I come out and try to come out with a better logic and try to correct my answer, then it turns out that it is kind of wrong. Again, I've learned this from experience. So it's up to you. But whatever it is that you do, you finalize this. But I would suggest that you do not go with this at the end. Okay, do not go with this at the end. The chances of you making a mistake is more, and you think that, okay, even if I have 20 minutes, I can do it. Even if I have 15 minutes, I can do it. Even if I have 10 minutes, you will still, keep waiting, and the chances of you making a mistake will be a lot more. Okay, so that is that. Okay. See, when I'm doing a test, I am not trying to find the answer. I'm trying to find options that I can eliminate. Okay. What can I eliminate? Okay. What can I eliminate? And this is what you do for MCQs. Okay. For MCQs. I learned this method a long time ago when I was preparing for my SATs. And I've taken a lot of these multiple choice questions. My first year of engineering had a lot of these multiple choice questions and things of that nature as well. So I feel a sense of comfort when I'm trying to find out what are the wrong answers. And if I can eliminate that, then I think I can play the odds a lot better. And I'll tell you why. So every one of your questions, and this is your prelims, right? A, B, C, D, right? These are the options. And if you get one right, if you get the right answer, it's going to be 2 marks. If you get the wrong answer, it is going to be minus 2 multiplied by 0.33. Sorry, minus 2 by 3, okay, 0.67, right? So in case you're attempting 10 questions, just on average, okay, just for a wholesome number, right? If you can eliminate, let us say this is not the answer, it is only between A, B, and C, okay, you've already increased your odds of getting the right answer. How so? If you get 3 questions right and 7 questions wrong, you are still on a positive 1.33. In 10 questions, you've gotten 3 questions right. Okay, 7 questions wrong, you are getting something like 1.33. Similarly, let us say that you remove 2 options, and now you're playing odds of 50-50. Okay, that means you're getting 5 questions right and 5 questions wrong. Okay, you're getting odds of 6.67. So the what you need to do is try to find out if you can eliminate some questions, some options that are definitely not the right answer. And if you are left with something less, then you can play the odds. And I'm sure most of you are doing this, but just understand that what are the odds that you're playing with, right? If it is 3 right, so for instance, why is it 3 and 4? Because if it is 3.33, right? If you have to choose between A, B, and C, and one of them is the right answer, it is basically 0.33 is the chance. Okay, either of them have a 0.33% or probability of being the right answer. So it could be either a 3 question right or a 4 question right. If it is 3 questions right that you get, it's 1.33 on the positive. If it is 4 questions right that you get, that is positive 4 already. So you understand this, right? So there is a lot you can gain from this process of elimination. Let's take a look at some of these questions. And these are questions that you may have already attempted in your previous attempt. Some of you are seniors. Some of you may not have written this. Just take a look at this particular question. You must focus and practice your previous year questions. Okay, you must focus on your previous year questions. Okay, so when I say process of elimination, see, generally I do 2 things. Okay, immediately I do not go and play try to eliminate. First thing is that I try to see if I can get the answer. If it is 1 only, if I can just say something like this, or if I can say it is 1, 2 only, then I take a look at this. If that option is not there, that means I've made some mistake. Then again, I go and check, and then I play these odds games. But let us say in this particular question, have you guys seen this particular question? Now, this is a question that was asked in your previous year, which is 2019. Okay, it was in 2019. And I'll tell you, today I know what is rusty spotted cats. Okay, I had to Google it, and turns out there is a lot about it. And, probably if I was writing this paper today and I don't recall this, I probably am going to be thinking, what is a rusty spotted cat? Even my neighborhood cat is basically, it's a little rusty in color. It's got a lot of spots. What exactly is it? Now, when I Googled it, I realized that there is a lot of literature about this rusty spotted cats. It is not exactly like a house cat. It is more of a leopard cat ancestry. Where exactly is it? But one thing I know is that blue-finned mahseer, I think, is the same as humpback mahseer, and this has been in the news. It was endangered, and recently it is not endangered. So this is something that I know to be right. Okay, Irrawaddy dolphin. Okay, Chambal River, and this is part of my notes. I've made notes on Irrawaddy dolphins and what's in Chilika, and these are things that are there in the news quite a bit. So I know for sure that this is basically my Myanmar region, my eastern portions of portions of India, and you have a good chunk of them in the Mekong, that entire sort of region. Okay, so not in Chambal. Where exactly is Chambal? Okay, in just above the peninsular region. Okay, so not there. Okay, and this I'm not quite sure. Okay, this is something that I don't know. Will I attempt it? Will I not attempt it? Let's take a look at this. So if I know for sure that, let's say this is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, this is 1, 2, and 3. I know for sure that 2 cannot be part of the answer. Okay, so I guess this is a little too simple. But what if I say that, I don't know this, I know only 1 is part of the answer. So then this could have been right, and this could have been right, this could have been right. So I'm left with these, and then I'll probably go with what is, what else I can eliminate. So a lot of these questions, you realize, are not as difficult. You don't need to know all of them. Okay, because despite having given this, they still make it easy by giving you only certain combination that can possibly, there are only certain combinations that are possible. Okay, in fact, this turned out to be way too easy in comparison. I am not able to make the kind of point that I would want to, just way too easy. This is something that I would know that, then it is the right answer. Okay, let's take a look at another question. Okay, now I think let's try to take a particular question and try to break down into, let's try to make it simpler. Now, this is a question, again, economics portion. So we have another 10 minutes. We'll continue this and we'll join back in. So look at this. Okay, human capital formation as a concept is better explained in terms of a process which enables. Okay. So individuals of, just go through this question. Individuals of a country to accumulate more capital. Okay, increasing the knowledge, skill levels, and capacities of the people of the country. Okay, great. Accumulation of tangible wealth and intangible. Okay, let's go to tangible wealth and intangible wealth. And I'm guessing that most of you do understand what is tangible wealth. So if I have like a physical property, that's obviously a tangible wealth. If I have something that is not tangible, is what, like something that can be touched, that perception. But more so, it is about things that it is hard to see, but still it is present. IPR is something that we call as an intangible asset, right? Things of that nature. So let's take a look at this particular question. And let's try to see if we can break this down. Okay, now let's take a look at this question. See, the first thing is that I saw this particular option, individuals of a country to accumulate more capital. See, human capital formation, and I'm sure that most of you have understood what is human capital formation. In fact, there is even a World Bank report, I believe, of human capital index or something. Okay, I'm not sure whose index it is, but it's there in our notes or in my notes. Okay, human capital index and things like that. Okay, we talk about human capital in the context of what when you're talking about demographic dividend. Okay, we talk about human capital as in when you talk about, let's say, health, okay, nutrition, their ability to do this. When we talk about education, okay, skill. I think it's also been a question in essay. I'm not sure exactly. Okay, so these are the kind of things. So let us just say that, let's say that, individuals of a country to accumulate more capital. It's not about capital alone, right? I know for sure that this is not the thing. I know 2A is part of the answer, and then there's a whole bunch of things. Now, I've just color coded in a manner that I want to say that this is not the one that I want to go with. Okay, so option 1 is not the answer that I would have. So if that is not the case, then I'm going to eliminate this and I'm going to eliminate this. That leaves me with only 2 and 2 and 4. So means this question is basically asking only one thing. 2 is definitely part of the answer. Okay, now you could have 4 or you may not have 4. Okay, so the question is basically asking, is this part of the answer or not? In fact, it's not even asking me, is 3 right? Okay, because I've already broken it down into whether it is 4 or not. So I've necessarily broken this question into just one. Eliminate option 4 or do not eliminate option 4. If I eliminate option 4, okay, if I eliminate option 4, then my answer is 2 only. If I do not eliminate option 4, that means the option is 2 and 4. Did you understand? The question did not even make me want to read certain other things. If I read the first option, I've eliminated these 2 and I have this, even 2, they're not basically testing me whether 2 is right or not. 2 is Definitely right. If you read through this, you will understand they're not necessarily testing me. They're not making me make that choice on whether 3 is right or wrong. All they are basically asking you, okay, if you can rephrase the question and break down the question, okay, into just one simple question. Does this human capital formation include accumulation of intangible wealth, or does it not include accumulation of intangible wealth? As simple as that. Do you get this question? So if you have a particular question, understand that while if the question did not have any of these, and I hope I can block this, but I'm not able. Okay, I can't block this. Don't look at this. Let's just say that you have to choose from here 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Within this, if you have to choose from here, the thing is you will have to think about which one is right, which one is wrong. But when you have these other 4 sort of options given here, 1 and 2, 2 only, 2 and 4, 1, 3, and 4, it basically even it makes the question even simpler, and you can break it down into just one question. Does human capital formation, is it a process that enables accumulation of intangible wealth or not? As simple as that. So if you can understand the dynamics of all of these things, you can just break these questions down, just take it in step by step, use that process of elimination, try to see what is the one option or 2 options that you have to necessarily deal with, and then you can go with it. With this thing, are you sure that you will get most of the questions right? No, because it depended on whether you could eliminate something. Let's say that I've been able to eliminate, maybe you will be able to eliminate something else. But by using a little bit of elimination, you can sort of simplify your question to a great extent. Okay, and the chance of you getting that question right is a lot higher. So strike rate necessarily, okay, strike rate as in the number of questions that you get right, divided by the number of attempts that you have. It depends on 2 things. Okay, whether you can be smart in exam, but that also depends on whether you have a strong foundation. Okay, if an option that you have eliminated is wrong in the first place, anything that you do later is going to end up giving you the wrong answer. As you say in any sort of a system, garbage in, garbage out. Okay, if you make a problem in the input, your output is going to be definitely wrong. So if you have a strong foundation, even if you can eliminate one option, you still have a much better chance of getting a question right. Okay, I hope that sort of helps. If you look at this is a question that was not asked. I mean, this is so you can go to our Telegram channel. Okay, Learn with Nataraj, UPSC Prelims 2022, and there are 20 questions being posted on a daily basis, some on Telegram and some elsewhere, right, on YouTube. If you see, this is a previous year question, and this is not this was asked very recently, maybe 2-3 days ago. You still see that this question basically has only 55% of the students giving the right answer. That means 44%, 45% are still not getting it right. And these are all the serious sort of aspirants. Okay, so what exactly is it? Is it because of not sort of breaking it down? I think it could be a foundation sort of issue. Stronger the foundation, your economy, even if you can eliminate one, it will necessarily give you a much better chance of getting that question right. Okay, so I hope that is sort of clear. Take a look at this question and see. We have around 3 minutes, so let's see if you can solve this. This is a question from previous year. Again, this is posted on our Telegram channel. What would the answer be? Consider the following statements. An amendment to the Constitution of India can be initiated by an introduction of a bill in the Lok Sabha only. Okay, and if such an amendment seeks to make changes in the federal character of the Constitution, the amendment also requires it to be ratified by the legislatures of all the states of India. Okay, what would be the answer? Just try to come out with your own answer. And if you want, you can actually put it in the chat window as well. Would this be right? Would this be right? In fact, if you, okay, so I'm starting to get messages already. Okay, all right. So some of you say that this one is incorrect. Okay, and this one is correct. Is that what most of you say? Again, recently asked in our group, right? And many of you have sort of attempted this particular question. This statement is almost the exact same sentence that is given in Lakshmikant, right? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So some of you are getting the right answer, some of you not the right answer. Look at this. If such an amendment seeks to make changes in the federal character of the Constitution, the amendment also requires to be ratified by the. In fact, the same statement is something that you've read in your Lakshmikant n number of times that you feel like the statement is right. You did not reach there, but there's just one word, and if you can see that, this green sort of fluorescent color. If you've not seen this, okay, you probably got your question wrong. Minus 2.66. Minus 2.66. Okay, because it is a question that you know it really well, and it's something that I would say is more towards the easier sort of question. This is not something that we want to make a mistake on. Okay, and all that happened was that you probably were pressed for time, or you probably were a little careless in not reading the finer sort of prints. So and there are some these tips and tricks that generally people say. I don't necessarily buy into that. That generally answer will never be neither. Okay, guys, if it is neither, it is neither, right? So don't go into this preconceived notion that aisa nahi hoga, waisa nahi hoga, ye nahi karna hai, wo nahi karna hai. Okay, if this is wrong, it is wrong. Okay, and of course, Lok Sabha as well. And when you attempt this, always go through this bulb sort of this one, and that will probably give you a little bit of an understanding and explanation on this. Okay, so things of this nature, right? So if you can ensure that these kind of things can be taken good care of, then I think your strike rate will improve. If you're somewhere in 20, you can actually bring it down to 13, 12. If you're somewhere in 30s, I'm sure that it can bring it down to 20 or something. Okay, at the end of the day, if you have 70 questions plus correct, okay, regardless of how many wrong you have, you are going to get through, right? You're going to get through. Okay, so it is for you to sort of try to practice these kind of skills, right? How do I eliminate? Am I eliminating it in the right way? Okay, so for instance, and this is a mistake that I generally do quite a bit. Okay, so for instance, are you making some mistake like this? And are you able to sort of stop making these kind of mistakes, right? So these are the things that you want to sort of, just give me a second. Okay, there you go. So you understand this, right? So it's all about like trying to understand that in those 1.5 hours, are you able to do what you've actually set out? What is your plan? So this is your plan of action, right? So within that, you're trying to eliminate as many options as possible. The more options that you eliminate, the better are your chances of your questions going right. So for instance, if you've actually gotten 10 questions in which you've actually eliminated two options, that leaves you with a 50-50 chance. And if you have a 50-50 chance and you just randomly go and take a guess in it, your final score is going to be, let's just say to take an average, it's going to be 5 right and 5 wrong. And that is going to again be 6.66 or something like that, right? So that is still going to ensure that you're able to sort of maximize on your score. So every elimination, not only a right answer, but every elimination increases your odds of scoring higher. Okay, so keep that in mind. Again, I would still say that even during the test, and during your preparation, okay, focus a lot on strengthening your foundation. There are n number of things to do. XYZ is what we've told you, or we've asked for you of you to do it. Okay, after XYZ also there might be something else. Okay, but I would still say you focus on strengthening this area, right? If I say focus on strengthening your area, those 6 subjects plus your current affairs, just to ensure that you're better than most in each and every one of those sections. Okay, and the focus should be never ever get a mistake in these 20 easy questions. Don't preferably do not make any mistakes here. Okay, try to at least give your best here. These 20 questions, you're going to have a situation in which you can either eliminate one option, whether you can eliminate 2 options. Sometimes you don't even know what the question is. You've never seen the question, and it is going to be there. Mistakes here are like totally fine. Mistakes here are not going to be totally fine. Okay, and just to sort of remind you, generally in most papers we'll have around 20-25 questions of easy questions, 50-60 questions of generally moderate. And when I say moderate, I mean questions that are a lot more of you understand the concept
Okay, all you've got to do is sort of apply it. And there will be some 20, 25 questions that are sort of going to be difficult. Obviously, this is going to be different from year to year, but this is generally the pattern. Easy questions, you do not want to be making mistakes. Moderate questions, you try to give your best. Difficult questions, you make a mistake, that is fine, right? Because whether you solve an easy question or a difficult question, the marks are going to be always the same that is given to you. So where you can get it, you go for it, right? Now, the reason I mentioned this is that this is again another question, and this is again from economy. Okay, and this is a previous year question paper from the year 2020, as in last year, or last to last year, right? So last to last year. And if I say 20 questions easy, 60 questions moderate, and 20 questions difficult, okay, now I would, even if I have to like basically rank questions, okay, from easy to hard, I would still place this in the 1 to 5 easiest of questions. And you will get questions like this. The reason I've actually chosen to sort of keep this particular question here is because I've asked around six people who've written prelims before, and 5 of them have actually gotten this question wrong, meaning you've prepared for so much, but you've gotten a very simple sort of question wrong. Now take a look at this question. Commercial paper, what is it? Certificate deposit, what is it? Call money, what is it? Zero coupon bonds, what is it? Now just take a second and try to see if you can get your answer. And in case you sort of reach the answer in a different way, great. But try to see, okay? And you probably should understand that why I'm saying that this is going to be a very sort of an easy question, and why do I place it in within the 1 to 5 easiest of questions. This should not be wrong, guys. This should not be wrong. Any decent book, whether it is Sanjeev Verma, Ramesh Singh, I'm guessing these are the books that are available in the market. I've not read these two. Whether it is Shankar Ganesh, whether it's your NCRTs, or whether it is a daily newspaper, okay, or economics page, we should know what is a commercial paper, what is certificate of deposit, what is a call money, right? What is zero coupon bonds? Okay, now at least by now most of you have finished your economy. Now you might find it easy, but if you do think that okay, this is a kind of a tricky question, I'm not sure if I've definitely gone for the right answer. I'm not definitely sure whether I can only, what if you can only bring it down to, let's say, 2 options, right? Not good enough. Okay, not good enough for something that is 1 to 5 of the easiest of questions that is present in your paper. Meaning that if it is 50-50, if you're breaking it down to only 2 options, that means you still have only 50-50 chance of getting that question right. This is not a question that we want to get wrong. That's why I always say that focus on those easiest of questions. Do not make any mistakes there. Okay, everybody in the very first round, when they look at it, they're going to get some 35 questions right. Okay, any serious aspirant is going to get 35 questions right. But that same person, if because of lack of sort of adequate amount of revision, or lack of adequate amount of clarity, what if that person gets something like a 20 let's say a 29 instead of 35 questions, easiest of questions, easy and moderate questions? What is the difference here? If you've gotten 6 questions wrong, that means you've already fallen behind by 16 marks. That's it. 16 marks gone here. 16 of the easiest marks that you could possibly get, you've gotten it wrong because you made silly mistakes in each of these. Why did I actually just reduce 6? Because let's say you make one small mistake in your history, whether it is ancient or medieval or whatever it is. Okay, you made one mistake in easy question in your geography. You made one, okay, out of, let's say economy has 15 questions, okay, and there are many easy questions, but you made a mistake in one easy sort of question. Same thing in environment, same thing in geography, same thing in, let's say, current affairs. Just 6 questions that you got wrong. That has already set you back by 12 plus the negatives of approximately 4. So that's around 16 marks you've already fallen behind. Okay, you do not want this to be happening. Okay, so for instance, if you look at this particular question, is there any question that you would eliminate, process of elimination? Anybody? So are you guys all sort of very comfortable with what is a commercial paper, what is a deposit, what is call money, what is notice money, what is zero coupon bonds? Look at this option. Okay, zero coupon bonds are the interest-bearing short-term bond issued by the scheduled commercial banks to corporations. Now, before you go anywhere, okay, that's it. Here, interest-bearing, zero coupon. Okay, that means there is no interest. Okay, you don't have to even bother reading any of this, right? You don't even have to bother reading any of this. Okay, you know that 4 cannot be the answer. That leaves me with what? It cannot be 3 and 4. It cannot be 4, right? Is there anywhere else you have 4? No. So the options that are left now are 1 and 2 and 1 and 3. So exactly, do I have to look through 1? No. Do I have to, all I have to do is choose between 2 and 3. Do you understand? I have rephrased the test paper, the question into which of these is right. That's it. which of these is right? It has to be one right, the other wrong. It cannot be both right. So certificate of deposit, call money, right? Call money is a short-term finance used for interbank transactions. So basically it's like 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, right? So call money is a short-term finance used for interbank sort of transaction, of course. That's what it is between financial institutions. That makes sense. Certificate of deposit is a long-term sort of an instrument issued by the Reserve Bank of India to a corporation. Okay, now this is a problematic on many different counts. Okay, certificate of deposit, if you understand, so if you make a deposit, you get a certificate saying that, it will be returned at a later date. But RBI to the corporation, when does the corporation provide money to Reserve Bank of India? Where exactly will, just take an example of a PSU or any sort of a commercial alliance or something like that. What are they providing to Reserve Bank of India? So if you can basically analyze these sort of aspects, you will very clearly be able to tell that, that's why I'm saying that, this is one of those questions which is more of that 20 easy, 60 moderate and 20 here. This is definitely one of the easiest of questions that you will see. Okay, so clearly this is wrong and this is there. But the point here that I want to sort of again underpin here is that you have rephrased a question into basically, is it 2 or is it 3? That's it. Okay, is it 2 or is it 3? This is your only sort of a question that has been asked, right? Is it 2 or 3? Right? But even if you don't know this thing, let's just say that you can block all of these sort of components off. Even if you can block off all of these components, it doesn't necessarily matter. If you can just look at this, when you're practicing, it is better whether you can, eliminate or sort of not eliminate these options. Commercial paper is a short-term unsecured promissory note. Okay, great. That's right. Certificate of deposit, you should be able to say, this is right, this is wrong, this is right. Okay, and this is definitely wrong on many counts. Okay, as simple as that. But when you're solving a question on the test day, you're basically trying to break it down and rephrase or break it down into the simplest of question. The question is basically, which one is right? Is it 2 or is it 3? That's it. In fact, you don't even need to know what is a commercial paper. Even if you do not have that particular portion right, you'll still be able to get your answer. So do you understand? So these kind of questions, most of the questions, generally these 20%, right? Not only have they given easy sort of options here, but because of these options, the question becomes even easier, right? So this is not a question that anybody should go wrong in. Okay, but I've seen a lot of people go wrong here. So again, to make my point, if there are some 35 easy questions that you could have gotten in your very first round of looking through your answers or to solve those questions, okay, if you have made one small mistake like this in each of these sections, one in history, one in economy, one in environment, one in geography, one in general science, and one in whatever the other 6th subject is, okay, that has already set you back by approximately 16 marks. I hope you're able to understand what I'm saying. Okay, that there is a lot here that is going on, right? That is why I always say that strengthen your foundation to a great extent. The stronger your foundation is, trust me, you can tell yourself in your heart when you walk into that exam room, you have another 20 people sitting there, you can tell yourself, you know what, I back myself because I've actually, my foundation is very strong. I have prepared every one of these sections to an extent where I can believe that I'm better than most. Right, in every one of those sections, just if you remember the initial slides in which I said each and every one of those components, if you can just tell yourself, I'm better than 90% of the people here, I'm better than so and so number of people here, I'm better than so and so number of people. If you can do these things, the paper, okay, during a test, the things that you have to do during the test, you can actually simplify the questions to a great extent and ensure that the chances of you striking it is going to be much higher. So I hope these kind of things give you an idea of like how people who generally keep cracking the exam with 25-30 marks above the cutoff, how is it that they do it? Okay, how is it that they do it? In fact, last year the cutoff was, I'm not sure what was the cutoff last year. I think they were saying 90, 92, 95, somewhere there for general category. And a lot of the people that I was asking here, especially my students, they were like 87, 92, 96, 96 to 100, this kind of a range. And then I called my friend who had, I think it was his 5th straight mains. I asked him, where exactly do you stand in this thing? And he was telling me, I've not checked. A little later, he told me that he's somewhere between 116 and 120. So do you understand there are constantly the same group of people who will constantly be in the top 1,000, top 2,000, okay, top 500. They are generally good at it because their foundation is very strong. Okay, and they simplify their preparation to an extent that they know very clearly like what is it that you have to do before, during your preparation? What are the things that you want to do in your test? I hope you can understand how are the ways in which I would have solved this particular question. And if this is the way in which you would have solved this question, great. Okay, but these kind of questions should not go wrong, right? If you can ensure that, and you can ensure this thing for every one of the 6 subjects plus your current affairs, better than most, better than most, better than most, better than most, for each and every one of these things, trust me, you have nothing to fear whatsoever. Okay, nothing to fear whatsoever. This is again, I think it's in the very, I think it's the past week that this question was asked, around 40-45 days before the exam. And you still see in some of the easiest of questions, and these are, so the sample size, if you look at it, these are all people who are preparing very hard, right? It's most of you who have taken this test, taken these quizzes from our Telegram channel, right? So if you look at it, it's still only approximately 1 out of 2 getting the question right. You understand? Now, these are people who are studying those 8 hours, 6 hours, they are very serious. They've been taking a lot of tests, and they also have the same drive and ambition, but there is something that is going wrong there. Okay, now you probably have to understand a little more, 2, 3, 4, and have to basically take a look at it. Why would 4 be the right answer? Okay, that is basically not having a strong foundational issue. This question, this option, okay, you see zero coupon bonds and interest bearing short-term bonds. I mean, there's something fundamentally wrong here. Okay, so it's all about just going back to the basics. If you're strong at your basics, trust me, the chances of you eliminating at least one option is going to be a lot higher. And that, again, as I've shown you the math, okay, even if you can attempt 5 questions right and 5 questions wrong, that is still going to put you at a 6.67 positive, net positive. Okay, that is still very, very good. Okay, so stronger the foundation, the better at it. Okay, so strengthen your foundation. And I think I've given you a pretty decent understanding of like how to sort of handle this. So again, just to summarize, use an OMR sheet now, right? You choose that pen, okay, whether it is going to be that, what is that, Rodito, and whatever, the Reynolds Equiflow. Either of these things, if you find it, or if you have any other sort of pen, try to go ahead and use that as well. Try to utilize 1 hour 50 minutes, not 1 hour 45 minutes. Try to solve those questions within that time period. When you take a test, try to understand that you're not just looking at the answers and trying to see what is the best option. You are trying to play with the options as well. You're trying to sort of rephrase the question, break it down, and trying to reduce the number of options by using the process of elimination from 4 options to either 3 options to 2 options, and possibly a lot of times you'll be left with only 1 option. Did you know that particular answer? No, not necessarily, but you know what is not the right answer, and that got you where you wanted to go. Okay.
Alrighty, guys. So that brings us to the close of our video. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you found the video to be useful. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the very next video.